Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me as your DM. Today, we are going over how to create a character. We're not going to go into much detail, just give you the basics so that you can kind of uh, get your toes in the water, try to experiment. So, go to create character. You have the option of using a pre made character, but where's the fun in that? You don't learn anything with that. So, let's make a custom one, standard. So, the first screen you are going to get is this one, home. I recommend adding a picture and a name because these two will be used in the game that we play. On the home screen, don't get intimidated by all of these options. Just scroll down right past them and public. Ignore them like the person you ignored in high school who had a crush on you, and now you regret it. Oops. Moving on to class. In classes, we are going to avoid core rules. We are going to use 2014 rules because that's what most people are using on Discord, at least most free games. Newcomers are also more easily accustomed to these rules, so we will check one of these. If you don't know what class to choose, I have a list somewhere on the server that details which classes are easy, which classes are hard. I will have this list pasted somewhere easier to find later. But for the sake of this video, we are going to choose a cleric, a medium difficulty class. So there we go, cleric, add class. Now, after you choose cleric, let's select the things it allows us to customize. Proficiencies are things you're good at. Uh, hey, what should I pick? I don't know. Pick whatever you feel like, experiment with it, and then you'll know you'll come out of it better. Most people, when using spellcasters, forget that they need to equip spells. So we're going to do that. However, if you're new, brand new, I do not recommend using a spellcaster. I have it somewhere on the server that if you're playing the game for the very first time, do not choose a spellcaster. This is not a rule, more of an advice. Because again, if you notice, spellcasters are towards the harder difficulty. Now, let's add some spells. Not going to go over how what each spell does because that's just another can of worms. But again, choose spells that make sense to you and experiment with them. You'll come out of it having learned something, and you will be better prepared to make your next character. So, after having done the class, we will move on to the background. Again, for the background, it's the same thing. Choose whatever makes sense to you. Make the options that it gives you, select those, and you can ignore these last four things. These last four things don't really serve a mechanical function in the game. These are more uh, details about your character that you should know that help you decide how you want to play your character. I mean, it's fine if you want to spend time here, but it's not mandatory. So we are going to move on. Species. Again, just like class, we are going to collapse core rules. We are going to collapse expanded rules because we are again doing 2014. And if you're a player for the very first time, I recommend skipping past all of these and just going human. The best one you can relate to, the easiest to understand. Uh, Make the choices that it gives you. Move on. Now, abilities is something that we won't be just skipping over because this determines how strong your character is, what he's good at. You have three options: standard array, rolled, or point by. In this example, we'll do standard array because that's the easiest for any new person. You get an array to determine what your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. DM, I don't know what's right for my character. It differs for each class. For a cleric, it would be something else would be important. Or something else would be important. The best way is you can simply ask me, or you can put in numbers that make sense to you, and just hope for the best. You won't screw up. You can't go wrong. It's a learning experience. You get into the game, you'll understand the mechanics, and you'll come out of it a better person. Uh, Depending on scenarios, I may even allow for you to go back into your character and switch these around because you made a mistake the first time. I'm pretty chill like that. So in this case, we have a cleric. Clerics usually value wisdom above everything else. Uh, Wizards value intelligence. Sorcerers value charisma. How do you know this? You experiment. You play the game. You stumble, you fall, and you find out. Or you could just Google it, but again, it's not going to make much sense because how are you going to remember that? The best way to remember is from experience. So I'm just going to throw random numbers here to get through. And again, this is a pretty stupid cleric. But when you play the game, you'll understand what happens when you sacrifice dexterity being the lowest number. And then when you make your next character, you'll understand the importance of dexterity and you'll be able to better make decisions. Moving on. Skip everything. Starting equipment. Always do equipment, never do gold, right? As greedy as we are, nope, we're gonna choose material that we can use to make more gold. So, bingo, bango, there we go. Hey, DM, I don't know what equipment is right for me. Don't worry, you can't go wrong. Pick equipment that makes sense to you, and you're fine. You're gonna be fine. You'll come out of it having learned something. Important thing to stress on, make sure you equip your stuff, use your stuff. Don't just move on to the next screen. Click these buttons to equip your things. And if you don't do it, like I'm going to purposely skip my mace, I'm not going to wield or equip my mace to give you an idea of what happens if you do that. Moving on. So there you go, and that is it. So I didn't equip my mace, and that's because you can do that later. It's not like, oh shit, I've screwed up, I can't fix that. No, you can. View your character sheet. We will discuss how to roll on a different video. But in this video, let me show you what happens if you don't equip your mace. You can see under my actions, I do not have my mace. I cannot attack with my mace. That's because in my inventory, my mace is not equipped. If I press it, the red box comes up. Now I go back to actions. There you go, my beautiful mace that now I can whack people with. So make sure your stuff, your equipment is equipped. Yeah. Finally, we're gonna go to inventory and I'm gonna show you gold. I didn't add gold. Where did the 15 come from? Well, with the equipment, you do get some gold. Not as much as you would have if you just chose gold, but 15 is a decent number. DM, how do I swap out my gold? How do I increase, decrease it? Click on it. This window comes up. I'd like to remove 1 gold uh, and add 10 silver. That's it. That's how you manage your gold. You can see it says 1 gold is equal to 100 copper, 1 gold is equal to 10 silver. No, don't need to go into that. You can like literally see it written there, so we're fine. And that is your character, that is gold, that is inventory. See you in the next one.